Once I was a fool, dreaming my life away, and then yesterday I found you looking for me, dragging your heart around. La 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 la. Hoka hey, BOOZHOO. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to BOOZHOO, Not a BOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am Not a BOOZHOO, and today I thought we would do something a little different. We do different stuff all the time. You know, sometimes we sing songs and we don't even teach Ojibwe language. Sometimes we just, teach Ojibwe. And, you really can't please everybody all the time. Mostly people are pretty indifferent. But, once in a while I'll get a letter. I'll be like, hey, enough with the songs. I've come here to learn the language. Or people take it really seriously. I'm trying to learn the language. Quit talking about your grandma or whatever. But if this is the only place you come to learn the language, come on. There's so many websites to learn how to speak Ojibwe. And if you can't be bothered to learn any other way, this is a kid's show, all right? So I was thinking today, what would I like to say to the kids, to the viewers. And it's weird because sometimes I think, the viewers are all grown-ups. But, I know there's some kids that watch us too. But, I know a lot of you guys are being homeschooled. And, you're not sure how to feel about this. They're closing the schools. Will they open them next year? I think so. I don't know. But, schools have never been great. And I found this thing. It was a poster at the school I used to work at. And they had these Ojibwe sayings. And they were like, Ojibwe terms for the school. And someone sent them to me because I was like, oh, you'll like this. And right away there was like the Ogama Kandawanan. Ogama Kandawanan. And they called it the classroom rules. Well, it's kind of like the boss's rules. And then right away, Weweni Bizendan. Weweni Bizendan. Listen carefully. And I started thinking, it's like, yeah, of course, you must listen carefully, follow directions. Kikanutao, follow directions. But then I was thinking, what I wish someone would have told me is to question those directions. Win. Question what they're telling you. The teachers will go only so far and say, oh yeah, there's some stuff, if you ask the question, who writes the history? Then they'll say, oh, to the victors go the spoils. The people who, somehow won wrote the history. So it's kind of subjective. And I used to go on about the story of Columbus. That's kind of the first thing they teach in history class is Columbus Day. They did this when I was a kid. They say, okay, here's what the story is, but it's not true. And it's a weird way to learn about history because it's kind of like learning about Santa Claus and learning that he's not real on the same day. It's like, okay, well, here's a story that we tell the kids, but it's a lie. There is no Santa Claus. And I'm not sorry that I'm ruining that for you people who lie to your kids. But there is no man from the North Pole who flies around and can read your thoughts and gives you presents That's just a weird story. Well, same thing with Columbus. They say, oh, they tell us that he was discovered America, but that's not true. But everything else from now on that we teach you in school, that's going to be true. Don't question anything else. Like George Washington. He's the father of the country. He was our first president. I mean, except for those other 8 guys before him. But he was the father of our country. And he never lied. And you can believe that story. Or how about, what else? The story of how, I don't know, pick anything. I've been debating whether or not to bring up science and what they teach. The historical or scientific facts of the theory of blank, theory of whatever. And it's the same thing. Oh, well, you can trust us because there was this guy, and here's a story of the history. His name was Einstein or Galileo or Copernicus or whoever. And, just like the presidents. They'll tell you, oh, these are great men. They never lied. And then you'll go, how come every picture of these guys, these founding fathers, they all got the hidden hand? Oh, well, that's just a secret sign for the Freemasons. It's a secret organization with, links to Baphomet and Satan worship. And, George Washington was he worshipped Baphomet. He had a sculpture made of himself in Roman garb, and there's a whole creepy history there. But we're not going to cover that. This is the story of George Washington who never lied. He chopped down a cherry tree, and he's the father of our country, and you can be proud of him. And we carved his face in Mount Rushmore, and he is a great man, and we love him. Okay, next chapter. Abraham Lincoln. They just fast forward. Okay, so here's George Washington, and then fast forward 100 years. Here's, however many years. Here's Abe Lincoln. Oh, wow, he freed the slaves. Oh, what's this about slavery, you say? Oh, well, real briefly, these are really bad, these really tough white colonists or whatever went to Africa and overpowered their puny African warriors and put them in chains and brought them to work on the cotton fields. And then, because the cotton owners were so tough and they had whips, they could enslave the Africans. But then Abe Lincoln came along. He was like, hey, you guys cut that out. But the Southerners were so mad. They were like, hey, you leave our rich elite cotton owner plantation guys alone. We're going to go to war with you. And this was the Civil War. And then, what else? And so they shot him in the head. And nothing happened then until Kennedy. And that's pretty much what you're going to learn in high school history. I don't know. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, school. What a tragedy that you don't get to sit through a lot of that. All right. Well, you have been watching BOOZHOO, Nana BOOZHOO, the podcast about homeschool education and culture. I am Nana BOOZHOO, and I hope you have an awesome day. And question what you are taught. Even when I teach you, question it. Don't just because I said, maybe I'm full of it. Maybe George Washington was a good guy. I don't know. All right, I'll see you again. Giga waba min, minowa. Hoa. Thanks. Welcome to BOOZHOO, Nana BOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture too. I'm happy to be here with you today to speak Ojibwe. Demon Wayne Dum G-A-I on Homanungun in English means I'm happy to be here today. That's all I wanted to say in Ojibwe. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to BOOZHOO, Nana BOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture.